Hey y'all, I am Nisha, and this is my ASMR channel, and this is day 19 of the Monster Mash Marathon, where for 31 days I uploaded almost every day to end with 31 videos in this month of October. So, today's video is about Candyman. Candyman is a horror legend with origins in the late 1800s. He kind of has like a similar vibe as Scary Mary, Bloody Mary. But I think there's like a difference. Like, I am actually afraid of Candyman. Like, Bloody Mary is like, ooh, you know. But I don't play around. I don't play around with Candyman, okay? So, the summoning of Candyman. So, the legend states that by saying Candyman 5 times in a mirror, it summons him to kill anyone who dares call him. And he is a very, very vengeful spirit. The mirror is important because it is both like a portal and a source of power for Candyman. It's not really stated how the ghost appears so much, but there is an entire movie about Candyman based on all of the folklore. And in the movie, Candyman appears in this very long, heavy wool coat that is all the way down to the floor. And he also has a hook hand, and he's usually accompanied by a swarm of bees. And as I stated before, non-believers be weary, doubt his existence, and he might come for you. That's why I don't play around with the guy, you know. I can't even say the name too many times, y'all. Like, even though Candyman is a very interesting horror legend, what is probably even more horrific is the origin story. So, the origin story of Candyman goes back to a man named Daniel Robatelli. He was the son of a former slave who had got out of slavery and became a successful shoe manufacturer. As an adult, Daniel himself establishes a career as a portrait painter. And he is eventually commissioned to create a portrait of Caroline Sutherland, who was a white woman in the area. Daniel found himself falling in love with Caroline, and eventually Caroline became pregnant by Daniel out of wedlock, and that was kind of like a double was like already extremely taboo. And then on top of that, it was out of wedlock, which for that time in the 1800s, it was once again extremely taboo for a woman to be pregnant out of wedlock. Even today, like, people still feel a lot of guilt and shame about having a baby outside of wedlock. I said to each his own, you know. And with this story too, like, love who you love, do what you want to do, but clearly within this time period, having that freedom was a luxury that they didn't have, and it resulted in immense violence. So, Caroline being pregnant out of wedlock greatly angered her family and specifically her father. Then apparently her father employs a lynch mob that goes after Daniel. When they attack Daniel, they chop off his right hand and smear his entire body with honey. This attracts bees to him who swarm and then sting him to death. And yeah, sadly Daniel passes away from all of the bee stings on top of bleeding out. And apparently this all happened in Chicago, Illinois. And after he passed away, his ashes were sprinkled out in his neighborhood, which I believe now is known as the Cabrini Green Projects in Chicago. Obviously, there's like a real world connection to this entire story that speaks to like the reality of racial injustice and abuse to minority communities. But y'all, like, legitimately, I am scared of Candyman. I know I keep saying it, but like, yeah, it's like Bloody Mary, but like creepier. If y'all have never seen the movie Candyman, I highly recommend it. That was one of my favorite scary movies growing up. And what else? Oh, there's also like a Jordan Peele rendition that's like kind of newer. That version of Candyman wasn't bad either, if I remember it correctly. So check it out. I think it's a pretty interesting ghost story, urban legend that has like a real world connection. So with that being said,